Do you wonder what a 1925 breakfast would taste like? Join me on this adventure of cooking recipes from a 1925 vintage cookbook. Let's check it out together. Work it, but there we go. Now it comes together a little bit better. I'm just gonna sprinkle a tiny bit of flour on top. All right, let's get started on our first item, sweet cider punch. Whoops. We have the recipe right here, and I've gotten everything ready here. We have the juice of 1 lemon already in here. We have the fresh juice of 3 oranges. So we're gonna get that in here. I love the simplicity of this punch. And then we have a whole quart of apple cider. So any type of, oh boy, yeah. This is gonna cause a little bit of a mess, but that's all right. Clean it up later. And then we have a 1/4 cup of either maraschino cherries, or I made this cherry conserve yesterday. You can check out my live video, but I'm gonna put that in here. I will link that down below in the description along with the recipe. But let's get the rest of that juice in there as well. It's gonna be so tasty. So all we do is mix this up real quick, and then we're gonna chill it and let all the flavors meld. So we'll get that in the fridge, and then we're gonna move on to our delicious orange biscuits. So let's move on to our 1925 biscuit recipe. We have some bread flour here, which is kind of different for biscuits. We have 2 cups of that we're putting in 4 teaspoons of baking powder, sticking a little bit to the bowl. Oops. Let's get that in there. And then we have a teaspoon of salt. I like to use kosher salt for the texture and flavor, and to sift it, I always just like to use a whisk. And then it says 2 tablespoons of shortening. I usually like to use butter, so I'm gonna get that in there. And then we're gonna work it in with our fingers. You can use knives, a fork, a pastry blender, but I like to use my fingers. So I'm thinking about doing a video where I talk about lots of different kinds of vintage biscuits, because you run across them in almost every vintage cookbook. It would be fun to rank them and see which ones are the best. So let me know down in the comments below if you would love that. I think that would be a lot of fun to see which biscuit reigns supreme. So we want to get this really mixed in here well, and then we'll get the rest of the ingredients in here. You'll see an interesting twist coming up with how we add in the orange flavor that I am very curious about as well. So stay tuned. So I will be back in just a moment. I just have to wash my hands of this flour. Be right back. It's time to add a 3/4 cup of whole milk. And we're just gonna stir that enough to get a soft dough. And as you can see, I've got my rolling equipment over here, some extra flour, a cutter, and my favorite wooden French rolling pin. Let me know in the comments down below what type of rolling pin you prefer when making biscuits or cookies or anything. Do you use a marble one, a metal one, a glass one? I've just found simpler is better when it comes to rolling pins, so this is the one I've settled on. All right, so we are going to be right back and get this on the rolling board. So this dough, I feel I need to knead it just a tiny, because it's a little bit dry, and I want to get it put together a little bit more before we roll out. So I'm going to treat it a little bit like a scone, get it kneaded just slightly. I don't want to overwork it, but There we go. Now it comes together a little bit better. I'm just gonna sprinkle a tiny bit of flour on top. Let's get that rolled out. It says about a 1/2 inch thick. So we will get that going. It doesn't really say about how many biscuits, but it says small and dainty, which I think is very cute. So we're gonna do our best to do that. I'm gonna use this cutter here. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a ton of biscuits, but there's only 3 of us, so we don't need a lot. All right, so I think that's looking about right. Let me get that evened out a little bit, and let's cut our biscuits. And right after this, we're gonna get into the fun surprise orange part that you've been wondering about. I'm very curious to see how this is gonna turn out as well. So it looks like we're gonna get about 6. Now you can also re-roll this if you want to get more or make other little shapes. Just for the sake of time, I'm gonna leave it over here to the side and make something else in a moment. Be right back. Okay, we've come to the fun part of this recipe. We have our six biscuits. We have chunks, or well, these kind of chunky sugar cubes here, because it calls for chunks of loaf sugar, which I could not find. It's a really old thing that you use to kind of chop off bits of sugar. So these kind of chunks of sugar cube are the best thing. And what we're going to do is dip this in orange juice, which is really interesting. And we're supposed to plunge this into the biscuit. I'm assuming it's like this, so it sort of breaks apart. And then sprinkle it with the orange peel that came for the one orange that we squeezed for the juice. So there it is. It'll be really interesting to see how this turns out. And so I'm gonna finish the rest of these off camera, and I'll show you how they are when they come out of the oven. So these just came out of the oven. You can see the sugar really melted on the top. It's really fascinating. They look beautiful and golden brown, so I can't wait to see how they taste for the family tasting. So stay tuned. And next we're gonna move on to our puffy rice omelet. And in the oven, I have a surprise that I made with the extra biscuit dough. So I'll show you that next. So you can see what I made from the biscuit scraps. I made these cinnamon twists. So I just rolled out the dough, cut strips, sort of twisted them up, and I brushed them with melted butter and sprinkled them with cinnamon sugar. So this will be another bread option at our 1925 breakfast. So let's move on to the omelet now. Hello, so we are back to make the rice omelet right here. So we are using 4 eggs divided. We are going to mix up with a whisk these egg yolks really nicely. And it says to get them lemon colored, so I'm just gonna whisk them up a little bit here. That's looking nice. And off to the side here, we already have our beaten egg whites. I used my hand mixer with that. And I'm gonna leave this off to the side. And we're gonna put in a 1/2 cup of cooked rice. This is brown rice that I seasoned with tomato bouillon. So it's just leftover rice from last night's dinner. And then we have some chili sauce. It didn't specify what kind of chili sauce, 2 tablespoons. So I used this chili sauce here, Vietnamese one, but you can use whichever you'd like. Or just add in tomato sauce or any of that kind of thing. So we're gonna add in all our seasonings and flavorings here. We have a 1/4 teaspoon or a little bit more of fresh ground pepper, a teaspoon of my favorite kosher salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. So all that good stuff goes in here. This is a great way to use up little bits of leftover rice. I just love how in these recipes they have clever ways of using up rice and breadcrumbs and things like that. So that is awesome. All right, so now we're gonna fold in our egg whites, and then we'll be moving to the stove and then eventually the oven to be finishing up this omelet. So I will see you in just a moment so we can move to the stove and get this cooking. So we are over here at the stove. I have some melted butter in this skillet, about 2 tablespoons. It calls for bacon grease, so you could cook some bacon and then leave the grease in there if you'd prefer. I just didn't have that ready to go. So let's put our egg mixture in here. I'm gonna turn on the heat to kind of a medium heat because we're supposed to get the bottom of this browned and then set it in a 300-degree oven for a few minutes until the top is done, and then we're gonna fold it over. So that looks beautiful. I will come back when the bottom is browned a bit and we'll get that in the oven. So I just wanted to show you that it's kind of setting up a little bit. You can see it's a little bit puffier. So I'm just going around the edges with a spatula. It's starting to look a little more brown on the bottom, so I'm actually gonna take it off the stove and I'm gonna keep a close eye on it, just put it maybe 3 or 4 minutes in the oven and then check it. So we'll be back when it's out. So you can see that the omelet is very nice and puffy, but it is set on top. So we are gonna work on loosening this on the edges and doing our best to turn it over and then get it on this platter. See how we do. Do not touch the handle, it's very hot. So let's see how we can do this. Drum roll, please. Let's get this flipped over. Ooh, that's looking really beautiful on that side. If you can see the golden brown, that is gorgeous. And if we can get it on the platter, that's the tricky part. Oh, yay, woohoo. That looks gorgeous. Lovely, lovely. You can see this. Look how fabulous it is. Now let's move on to our fruit salad dressing and our fruit salad to complete this meal, and then I'll be showing you the table setting and the family tasting. So stay tuned for the complete meal. So now we are making honey salad dressing, which is going on our fruit salad. So it's just very simple for ingredients. In the bowl here we have lemon juice and we have olive oil. You can use any oil that you'd prefer. I will put all the amounts down in the description. And then we have some honey, because it is a honey salad dressing, so you do need that. I usually don't put any type of dressing on a fruit salad, but I'm just really curious to see how this tastes. Let me know in the comments down below if you like to put any dressing on your fruit salad. And we just have an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So we're just gonna whisk that together. I think that I am going to leave this on the side so that we can each try just a little bit on our fruit salad. So you can see it looks really pretty and just really bright and honey-like. So let's move on to making a fruit salad. So let's assemble our May fruit salad. Here it is. And I'm gonna do it slightly different from the book because there's fresh mint around here. I kind of put it in this pattern because it wanted you to have several stems around on each plate, but I don't have that much mint until it gets going in my garden. So we have a slice of canned pineapple here. You can also use fresh. I took the peel off an orange and made a slice of orange. That goes next. And then I sliced half a banana and I put some lemon juice on there so that it doesn't darken right away. And we probably don't need that many slices, but maybe we can get 4. So isn't this cute? And then we're supposed to top with a strawberry. Look at that, so cute. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this May fruit salad. It does look like a flower, it's so cute. And then we'll try it with the dressing later on when we have the family tasting. So let's check out this 1925 book before we move on to the table setting and tasting. So the book we're using today is from 1925, and it's a good housekeeping book of menus, recipes, and household discoveries. So what I love about it is each recipe either comes from the Good Housekeeping Institute, like the punch we made, or it comes from individual contributors around the country. For example, we can see the orange biscuits are from Connecticut, and this is a pound cake I'm going to try later. And the rice omelet, that comes from Kentucky. So it's really fun to see that people sent in these recipes. Honey salad dressing comes from New York. And then the May fruit salad comes from Pasadena. So really fun stuff. Something I found in here was mashed potatoes with peanut butter, so I will be trying that. And in the back, it has discoveries, kind of household hints, and it has a laundry section, all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll be taking more of a look at this in a later video, but I hope you enjoyed this and let me know what you think about the book. Let's move on to the table setting and looking at our feast. Look how beautiful this 1925 breakfast looks, with the omelet, the beautiful salad, the biscuits, the dressing, and our lovely punch. And I decided to go for kind of a spring Easter theme with this crocheted tablecloth and pretty lilies. So stay tuned for the family tasting to see what everyone thinks. Yeah, we're here to try the 1925 breakfast with the family to see what they think. So first time trying all these things.
What do we have?
So we have orange biscuits, and then I made cinnamon twists out of the extra dough. Then we have a rice omelet that has some chili sauce in it and leftover rice.
Okay.
And then we have a May fruit salad with a honey lemon dressing.
Thank you for making mine without bananas.
Yes, you
Appreciate
are
that.
welcome. You get double pineapple.
Oh, score. It's quite pretty. Okay, well,
Thank you.
I gotta try. What this is? What's this?
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. This is a sweet cider punch.
Will it be the one drink you've made that I actually like?
I
Or
hope
the
so.
first one?
That's nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's actually kind of like a grapefruit cocktail. There must be grapefruit juice in there, right?
Actually, no.
No?
Yeah, it's freshly squeezed orange juice, lemon juice, apple cider, and some of the cherries that I canned.
Wow.
It's a little sour for me, but not bad.
Yeah, a little bit because of the lemon juice, I think.
I like
Yeah.
the sourness actually. Kind
Awesome.
of reminds me of like a grapefruit cocktail. I'm amazed there's no grapefruit in it.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I think the orange and lemon kind of create that. But anyways, did you put the dressing on there?
I'm gonna. So this is the dressing for this.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see. A little bit of olive oil in there too. So.
There's olive oil in it.
Yes. You could use it on other salads too, but
Ooh, that's delicious.
yeah.
I'd put that dressing on a salad or
Oh,
something.
cool.
Interesting.
Well, let's see. What do you think of the salad so far, Adam?
It's all right. I mean, it's just kind of a bunch of fruit.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of fruit with garnishes.
I mean, it's all
Lots
fruits I
of
like.
fancy fruits. Mmm. Mmm. The dressing on there is nice.
Let's
Yeah.
try the orange biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try some of the omelet?
Oh, yes. Here, let me cut.
It
some
looks like
pieces.
one of those fried quesadillas.
Oh, yeah, totally. But there's no cheese in it. It's just leftover rice.
That's not cheese on top?
Nope, it's just
Oh.
brown on the bottom.
This is like a 1925 recipe.
Yes. It's a
Interesting.
great way to use up leftover rice, which I thought was kind of clever. Might be a little bit spicy because it's got chili garlic sauce in it, but
Biscuits are delightful. Actually, can I have a centerpiece instead of an end piece?
oh yeah, here I'll trade you.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Okay.
there's still stuff in there, yeah.
That filling looks really good.
So I want to show everybody the inside of the omelet. Has the rice and stuff in there.
Yum.
Good?
Delicious.
Not too spicy?
Yeah, it's got some kick to it, but it's not too spicy.
Mmm. Oh.
Mm.
Mmm.
This is delightful.
Hmm. So, and the biscuit, I was gonna say that the sugar and orange really meld well on the top. I was
Yeah, the
really
biscuit's pretty good.
curious about that. Because what you do is you dip a sugar cube in orange juice and then you smash it on the top.
Wait, does each one get a sugar cube?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's why it's so so delicious on the top, if you can see.
It's one of the cinnamon things.
Yeah, cinnamon twists. Let me see what this omelet is like.
this is nice.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's quite clever. You're right. That omelet is nice. Like a little bit of spice, but not crazy spicy.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a good flavor. Good use of. I kind of like that little bit of rice in the middle.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, this is a huge win from 1925.
Yeah, I'd
so
say Adam approved for this breakfast.
yay.
So what's in this one again?
Rice and chili sauce with a little bit of salt, pepper, and paprika.
It kind of tastes like, a fried rice omelet, sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
Except it's creamier
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a little heat and it doesn't have any of the Asian flavors, but
Yes.
it's kind of like it's really good.
Yeah, funny enough, it was the Vietnamese chili garlic sauce I put in there. But yeah, good stuff. Definitely try the recipes, everyone. They're down in the description. Thank you.
Yeah, you should give it a shot.